consideration. Will the city of Saskatoon charge out-of-towners more for user fees? Controlling the gopher population, why not everyone is on board with an emergency exemption? And how wide will Canadians be opening their wallets this holiday season?
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Not many people from outside of Saskatoon use city pools, rinks, and rec centers, but that's not stopping the city from exploring charging out-of-towners more to use city facilities. Keenan Sorokon reports.
Swimming lessons, a skate at the rink, or a monthly pass to a city gym could cost you more if you don't live in Saskatoon.
I would like to have the tax-paying residents of Saskatoon at least have first dibs to get their children, or actually adults, just enrolled into programs.
Councillor Bev Dubois brought forward the idea last month. A report from administration shows 5% of leisure card holders are from out of town. Raising prices for people outside the city would alienate some, but could still bring in additional revenue.
At the end of the day, it does end up being quite a bit of money.
There's a number of ways the city could create a user fee for non-residents, like rental fees, user groups, certain programs, or funding agreements. The city could also look at increasing daily charges, but administration isn't warm to the idea.
Administration would not recommend a non-resident surcharge for daily admissions.
Administration doesn't want to risk reducing traffic at leisure centers to chase after $10,000 or $15,000 in revenue. Regina recently implemented a 50% surcharge for non-residents for leisure programs like swimming lessons or art programs. And now City Council will explore a similar type of charge at budget deliberations in less than 2 weeks, which could go into effect as early as next fall. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
One Saskatoon City Councillor is panning Saskatoon's idea of a special fee to tackle homelessness. Councillor Rob Pierce, who has been critical of previous homelessness strategies, rejected the findings of a recent city survey. The survey found 63% of people would be willing to pay an extra monthly fee to address homelessness. A third of those said they would be willing to pay $5 to $9 a month. Pierce feels residents in his ward who are near a 106-bed shelter are already paying more for thefts, vandalism, and cleanup. He says asking residents to pay out of pocket blurs the lines of provincial responsibility.
All these things are a real cost to people in parts of this city that are not necessarily borne by everybody in the city. So if we're looking at fees and we're looking at doing this, I will be adamantly voting against no.
79% of survey respondents said the city should support the homelessness initiatives of other levels of government and service providers. You might be interested to find out it's not who is deciding what amount of chemicals to add at Saskatoon's water treatment plant, but rather what. This week, city councillors learned about the level of artificial intelligence being used by city departments, and as part of its many AI initiatives, the city uses machine learning algorithms to determine the exact chemical dosage needed at the water treatment plant. City staff say this has significantly improved accuracy and reduced waste. The city is also working toward having an AI assistant take a load off of staff and have customers talk to a chat bot when reaching out to the building's standards department. Well, Jeff, I don't think you use AI to help with the weather forecast. I think sometimes we might have a better forecast if that was the case.
I use AIAIO. That's right. It's the Farmer's Almanac. No,
Okay.
we used a lot of, you didn't see that coming, did you? Oh, yeah. You didn't see it beeping up Fifth Avenue. Anyhow, what we can tell you is that we've got ourselves a whole passel of technologies helping us talk about the fact we have a big push of warm Pacific air that is continuing to impact the prairie provinces in terms of our temperatures, but certainly the West Coast, if your travels are taking you there, it's going to be soggy, and we'll talk about that later on.
A flight from Winnipeg to Saskatoon had to make an unexpected stop in Regina last night.
What we understand is the emergency entailed an engine being out on the aircraft. So with that in mind, we have to enact our emergency response procedures just in case.
The flight safely landed in Regina at about 6:45 p.m. within half an hour of declaring an emergency. Some of the passengers were taken to Saskatoon by bus. Others are being reaccommodated. WestJet confirms the plane landed due to maintenance and all guests and crew deplaned. A 15-year-old girl was taken to hospital in critical condition in Regina after a crash involving several vehicles, including a school bus and a city bus. This was the scene at about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. A school bus collided with a car and city bus. The school bus then veered into a parking lot where it hit the 15-year-old girl. The driver of the school bus was taken to hospital as well for medical assessment. Both buses were carrying passengers, but no other injuries were reported. The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team says RCMP were justified in their use of force in the shooting on the Red Earth Cree Nation almost 2 years ago. CERT's investigation shows on December 19th, 2023, RCMP were called just after 3:30 in the morning for reports of gunshots in the community. Officers took 2 people into custody. A third person, a 25-year-old man, was also found, and when police were approaching him, the driver's side window of an RCMP vehicle was shot at, causing non-life-threatening injuries to one of the responding officers. The suspect then walked into the field where he shot himself in the head. When officers approached him, a confrontation ensued, with RCMP then shooting the man, striking him several times. An autopsy reveals the man died from both the self-inflicted gunshot and being shot by police. CERT has concluded the investigation because of the interaction RCMP had with the man, and because the suspect shot and killed a dog, there was reason to believe he posed a safety risk and were justified in their actions. A Saskatchewan farm group is calling on Ottawa to bring back strychnine, saying gophers are causing millions of dollars in damage. It comes after the federal agriculture minister said he'd support an emergency exemption to use the product. CTV Stacey Hine has the story.
What looks like a cute critter to many is a major problem for producers.
Gophers, even though they're small, the damage that they're doing is quite extensive.
The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan says Richardson ground squirrels, commonly known as gophers, are growing in number, causing significant crop damage and creating burrows that can injure livestock. It's calling for strychnine to be reinstated, saying current pesticides are more expensive and less effective.
That's certainly contributed to the fact that the gopher population has been exploding, and particularly in some areas in the southwest.
The once common pesticide was banned for use on Richardson's ground squirrels in 2023 and banned entirely last year. It has long faced criticism for causing an inhumane death and for the risk it poses to other wildlife.
The poison stays in the system even when the animal's dead, so if it gets eaten, and if the death isn't instant especially, they'll get hunted by another animal and that animal will get poisoned.
Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation says last year it paid about $10.6 million in gopher-related claims on about 123,000 acres, about twice the size of Saskatoon. Last month, Federal Agriculture and Agri-Food Minister Heath MacDonald said he would support an emergency exemption to use strychnine.
Will you support producers or provinces if they apply for the exemption?
Would I?
Yes.
Yes.
The Pest Management Regulatory Agency, which falls under Health Canada, not agriculture, would have the final say on an exemption. APAS calls Minister MacDonald's comments encouraging and says it'll continue to push for an exemption before spring, when gophers begin breeding. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatchewan community is working to restore acute care beds in the town. The Oxbow Hospital in southeastern Saskatchewan was converted to a health centre in the early 90s. Wayne Mantika has more.
It has been over 3 decades since Oxbow lost its acute care beds. Now the town of 1300 has met with the government asking for restoration of acute care.
So I have taken care of many different family members, and
And those family members, when they get displaced to other facilities, it creates a lot of havoc. And so that's what we want to see at Oxbow, is we want to see our residents being able to stay in Oxbow.
More recently, the government brought the Oxbow and Gainsborough health centers under one administrator. The NDP is concerned about the direction being taken.
Mr. Speaker, Pamela Bartlett from the Oxbow area is here advocating for change in healthcare. This Sask Party government is standing by their decision to have one manager split between two facilities 50 kilometers apart. And right now, neither facility has an administrator at all.
The government says fewer healthcare managers is part of a plan.
We're going to continue looking for more administrative savings so that we can have more people on the front line putting patients first, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
As for restoring acute care in Oxbow, the government has responded by letter saying there is no plan to do that. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The countdown to Christmas is on, and for many, so is the holiday shopping. And even as household budgets may have felt the squeeze this year, a new study finds people are prepared to spend more. Laura Woodward explains.
With about 40 days until Christmas and Black Friday around the corner, holiday shopping is picking up.
I've shopped for a couple gifts so far, yes.
The hardest to shop for is probably my cookum, because I don't know what she would want.
The rising cost of living is expected to shape how people spend this year.
There's an unusually high level of stress this year. 57% of Saskatchewan consumers are reporting that they're feeling more stressful than they have since pre-pandemic.
The Retail Council of Canada surveyed 2,500 shoppers across the country and found people are being more strategic with their purchases.
People are very focused on pricing, waiting for sales, comparing prices, looking online.
In Saskatchewan, the Retail Council estimates the average shopper will spend $890 on gifts. That's up 9% from last year and just under the national average.
You notice things getting more expensive out there?
Yeah.
Toys, especially toys.
Would that change how much you spend at Christmas?
Yeah, probably. For sure, stuff's more expensive. Yeah.
It's hard to cut. It's hard to cut the kids. I only buy for them, so yeah, a little bit less.
I'll make sure I buy for the grandkids, but if the adults don't get as much, they're adults and they can buy their own stuff.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan's building, energy and government sectors converged in Regina today to tackle the province's decarbonization challenge. The first annual Build Green Saskatchewan conference brought together energy providers, government officials, and First Nation and Métis representatives to explore pathways to emission reduction in the province. The conference focused largely on how to reduce the province's carbon footprint with solutions such as geothermal energy. Mad Canada has officially launched its 2025 Project Red Ribbon campaign to remind Canadians of the dangers of impaired driving during the holiday season.
This year we featured 22-year-old Rebecca Beattie. Her and her best friend were killed by an impaired driver in October 2021.
The campaign has been running for 38 years to promote sober driving or planning ahead for a safe ride home. The campaign to educate the public about the dangers and consequences of impaired driving also honors victims and survivors, providing support to loved ones. MAD says the risk of impaired driving is high because of increased social events during the holidays. Members of Saskatoon's philanthropic community were honored today over the noon hour. The 2025 National Philanthropy Day Luncheon honored youth and community members making a difference. Jeremy and I were honored to MC the afternoon. Each year, the day recognizes people who raise money, volunteer, and support local charities and nonprofit organizations. This year, the event featured a special youth panel who shared how they became philanthropists and what inspires them to give back to the community. The Saskatoon Forestry Farm Park and Zoo is all lit up for the season. The lights were turned on last night for the BHP Enchanted Forest, showing us a preview of what's to come this season. This is the 27th anniversary of the Enchanted Forest, one of the city's most popular attractions during the holiday season. The Enchanted Forest officially opens to the public on Saturday and runs nightly from 5:30 until 10 p.m. until Sunday, January 4th. And a reminder, nominations are open for the Saskatoon Citizen of the Year Award, which is presented by CTV. The Citizen of the Year Award is given each year to an individual who exemplifies excellence in community service and is making a difference in our community. To find out how to nominate that special someone, guides are available here at CTV Saskatoon or on our website. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December 5th, and we will announce this year's recipient on December 31st. Still to come, we check in with the riders in Winnipeg. Also, the latest on what Ottawa has planned to build up the nation. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. While the Grey Cup is the ultimate prize for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, one of the team's most popular players has a chance to take home some individual hardware tonight at the CFL Awards. Donovan Mace is covering the Grey Cup for us and joins us now from Winnipeg. Donovan, one of the unsung heroes, a lineman, could win big tonight.
Yeah, Chantel, the red carpet has been rolled out for the CFL's best, and one of the best in the CFL this season was the Riders' offensive line, and a cornerstone of that line was Jamarcus Hardrick, who has been recognized, and rightfully so, for his achievements on the field this season, up for most outstanding offensive lineman here tonight. That award expected to be handed out in about an hour if he wins or not, yet to be seen, but it's really someone who has not been recognized on the Riders this season, who at least his teammates feel should have gotten more recognition despite his excellent play this year.
If there's one thing A.J. Allen doesn't like talking about, it's himself.
You had such a good year. Just what was the key to that success?
My teammates.
Allen's journey to the Grey Cup hasn't been easy. The linebacker starting this season, taking the majority of his reps on special teams.
I've been ready for the opportunity for a while now. It actually worked out for me this time. So it was the same mindset of be prepared when that opportunity comes and be available when it is theirs.
But early season injuries giving him an opportunity to start on defense.
Over the middle, intercepted, taken away at midfield. A.J. Allen has it.
Where the Burlington, Ontario product broke through.
Rourke takes off. No! Stopped.
Finishing the regular season as the Riders' leading tackler with 91, adding 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, and forced 3 fumbles.
If you keep trying to prove other people wrong, you're going to live a very long life because they're always going to have something to say. So I've been trying to prove myself right ever since.
His excellent play earning him Saskatchewan's nomination for Most Outstanding Canadian, but he was outvoted as the West Division nominee by Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke, something teammates feel was unjust. Fellow linebacker Jameer Thurman taking to X, saying it's time for CFL fans and media to give Allen the respect he deserves, adding he put in the work, waited for his opportunity, and has excelled at a high level.
It means a lot that guys like Thurman and CJ Revis out there even tweeting about it. These guys don't tweet. They're even tweeting about it, man. They got so much love for me. They're using an app they don't use.
And his coach has taken notice as well.
He's had a hell of a season, and I wouldn't be shocked if one day we're talking about him as a defensive player of the year or whatnot, or most outstanding Canadian. He's got the talent to do so.
Now you're probably wondering, well, what about Corey Mace? He's up for an award tonight. Why are we talking about him? Yes, he is up for Coach of the Year this season as the West Division nominee. However, tonight the CFL solely focusing on the player awards only. So the staff and other awards like the Coach of the Year will be handed out at a later date. And if you're following along with the injury report as well, Keyshawn Johnson today not at practice for a second day in a row, still dealing with that knee ailment. Mace says that they are focusing on treatment, trying to get him back in the lineup for Sunday. Although Joe Robustelli was back at practice today, limited capacity after clearing concussion protocol. Chantel, back to you.
All right, thank you, Donovan. Donovan Mace reporting live for us tonight from Winnipeg. And just a reminder, the pregame show for the Grey Cup starts at noon Saskatchewan time on TSN with kickoff set for just after 5 p.m. And you can watch that on CTV. We now know the full details of the 6 major projects being fast-tracked by Ottawa. They include mining in Ontario and New Brunswick and power in BC. Mike Lecouture sets the scene for us on this second series of nation-building projects.
They are part of nation-building strategies to transform our economies.
The Prime Minister says the transformation is necessary because it's estimated U.S. tariffs and the accompanying uncertainty will cost the Canadian government $50 billion. It's why one of the projects supported by the federal government is a BC liquefied natural gas facility.
Silesums will become Canada's second largest LNG facility with a capacity to export 12 million tons of LNG every year to new markets.
In addition to that facility, the second round of projects includes a hydroelectric development project in Iqaluit, the Sisson Mine project in New Brunswick, the Crawford Nickel Mine project in northern Ontario, the North Coast Transmission Line in northwestern BC, and the Nouveau Monde Graphite Mine north of Montreal. All of them at various stages of development. And the head of the major projects office says her role will be to speed up the process.
Our job is all about making sure that people get across the line, get everything they need to get built on time and on budget.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the new federal office is part of the problem.
He's created yet another bureaucracy, a new bureaucratic hurdle for miners and oil and gas enterprises and other resource companies to jump through in order to get anything approved.
While the goal is to make Canada less reliant on trade with the U.S., some researchers say governments need to look beyond the current trade issues.
We need to think about what's going to happen with that land after mining's finished. What post-mining land uses could be secured there.
In addition to the 6 projects, the federal office will implement a strategy to improve infrastructure in an area between BC and Yukon, also known as the Northwest Critical Conservation Corridor. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The head of Canada's spy service outlined the threats facing this country today.
I would say that Canada is not going to be shy, or at least CSIS isn't going to be shy to come public with information when it's in Canada's national interest to do that and when it's in our national security interests. But today I gave examples that were new and things that Canadians hadn't heard before.
CSIS Director Dan Rogers warns that spies from China and Russia have a significant interest in Canada's north. He says non-Arctic states such as China are looking to gain an economic and strategic foothold in the region, and points out that Russia, with a significant military presence in the Arctic, remains unpredictable and aggressive. In Washington, the White House is downplaying the newly released private emails from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's estate. Among the 20,000 documents released in several exchanges, Epstein references his friend Donald Trump, casting new scrutiny on their relationship. With more, here is Joy Malbon in Washington.
In newly released emails, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein wrote a New York Times reporter in 2015, suggesting he might have dirt on Donald Trump. Would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? And in 2019, when President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's criminal behavior. He wrote, of course he knew about the girls, and he asked Ghislaine to stop. Epstein also confirmed in an email the former Prince Andrew was photographed with one of Epstein's victims, the late Virginia Giuffre, contradicting Andrew's claim that he never met her.
Categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all.
President Trump has denied all allegations of wrongdoing, but his administration continues to push back against releasing the Justice Department's case files, FBI investigations, names, and the scope of Epstein's crimes. Abuse survivors pleading for the truth to come out.
Just rip the Band-Aid off all at once, give the public what they need, and give us what we need, which is transparency. The other survivors, my survivor sisters, they're not going away.
In Washington, the politics are shifting. More Republicans now are joining Democrats demanding full public disclosure of Epstein's crimes.
I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president.
The pressure on this White House is not letting up. Democrats now have the numbers to force a vote next week that could lead to the full release of the Epstein files. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
After 43 days, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is over.
The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed a government funding bill last night, officially ending the shutdown. During the signing, President Trump blamed the Democrats, saying federal workers were left without paychecks, flights were canceled, and food bank programs were interrupted. The legislation is the result of a deal reached by 8 senators who broke ranks with the Democrats. It will extend the government funding through to January 30th.
We have our annual exhibition here in Nacum at 303rd Avenue next weekend, Saturday, November 15th, and Sunday, November 16th. And what's the weather going to be like, Jeff?
Well, in Nacum, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend, so things are looking pretty good for the Idioms exhibit done by the 12th City Artists Collective. So let's take a look at the numbers for Nacum. So this is for Saturday, 1 degree with sunny skies, and then on Sunday it's going to be 0 with sunny skies. So all in all, looking very nice in Nacum for the weekend. And once again, the exhibit Idioms by the 12th City Artists Collective taking place at the Old Church Hall in Nacum. And if you're in Nacum, you'll know where that is. And if you're in the surrounding area, believe me, it'll be easy to find. 6 degrees in Saskatoon right now, 2 in Prince Albert, and 4 in the Battlefords, and you can see a bit more in the way of clear skies in the Battlefords, but it is kind of breezy in the Battlefords, moderate winds, and in Prince Albert and Saskatoon, still kind of breezy as well, so it's kind of windy right now, but not big-time windy. We expect bigger winds as we roll into tomorrow. 8 degrees in Saskatoon for a high. That is 9 degrees above the seasonal average of -1. 14, the record warm temperature on this date from 1905. The record cold temperature, -31. Brr, 1940. Sun came up at 8:23, and the sun's going down, or rather went down, at 5:18.
Coming up, Jeff takes a check on your entertainment options, and later getting set for the Grey Cup, how fans are preparing.
Grey Cup. Friday on your morning, we'll connect with our friends at TSN to preview Sunday's Grey Cup matchup between Montreal and Saskatchewan.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the glittery city of Saskatoon. Things are looking pretty nice as we take a look at the, well, you know, I think out and about, we can tell you that it's looking pretty good. So that's very nice indeed. And we can tell you that the temperatures are still going to stay on the nice side, if we can say that, on the warm side of seasonal. Look, they're going to get a bit of a break from the rain tomorrow in British Columbia. Then more rain is on the way. A second system comes in. So it's going to be, if your travels are taking you out to the west coast, it's going to be soggy. The extra moisture is making its way into Alberta, into northern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and then out in Atlantic Canada, well, they're dealing with a series of lows that are just sort of cycling around. And again, if your travels are taking out towards the Ottawa, Montreal area, there could be some freezing rain, some snow there to deal with. So lots going on in Canada right now, but we're keeping our eyes closer at home now. So 6 degrees in Saskatoon, 2 in Prince Albert, 4 in the Battlefords. Our hot spot in Saskatchewan, Leader, 19 degrees. That's warm. Val-Marie, -15. Ooh, that's cold. Okay, making our temperature round up for the time being. It's 2 degrees in Lloydminster. 13 in Swift Current, 6 in Regina, 5 in Estevan, 4 in Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, quite a temperature range here, from 1 degree in Nipawin up to 12 in Kindersley. It's 10 in Rosetown. A real mix of temperatures here, and as you can see, the further north you go, it drops off, but still on the plus side. -5 in Stony Rapids and Key Lake, -6 in Collins Bay, -3 in South End and Sandy Bay Island Falls. On the plus side, but just in Buffalo Narrows with 1 degree, 0 in La Ronge. Down south, south. Big time heat in the southwestern part of the province, at least for by November standards. 15 degrees in East End and Leader, 18 in Maple Creek. And then as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, it drops down to -5 in Weyburn. That is surprisingly cold given the surrounding area. But we got ourselves 5 degrees in Carlisle, 4 in Broadview and Melville. On to our futurecast. So there's the low pressure center sliding across Alberta into Saskatchewan, and clinging to it, we've got ourselves that area of snow. So we are anticipating snow in Buffalo Narrows and Key Lake, a bit more in the way of substantive snow for Key Lake. Temperatures of -3 in those two communities, -1 in Buffalo Narrows, cloudy, and 0 tomorrow for La Ronge. Mainly cloudy conditions for west central Saskatchewan, but wind will be the dominant feature for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood. Wind gusts up around 50 or 60. 0 in Meadow Lake, 1 in Spiritwood, 3 in Kindersley, and 4 in Rosetown. 4 as well in Leader, 7 in Maple Creek, 5 in Outlook, also 7 degrees in Speedy Creek. Up to 12 degrees in Moose Jaw, 11 in Estevan, 8 in Regina, 7 in Yorkton, and temperatures hovering around that 4 or 5 degree mark in east central Saskatchewan under mainly cloudy skies. Temperatures dropping down to 1 degree tonight in the Battlefords, but the winds start to pick up, and then they stay windy tomorrow, a high of just 2 degrees, 1 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, Monday to start the work week, 2 degrees. For Prince Albert, an overnight temperature of -1 and getting breezy tomorrow, not big time windy, just breezy. -1 on Saturday and Sunday, 0 to start the work week, but a chance of flurries on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature 1. Winds out of the southwest at 20. The winds shift in direction and in intensity. Wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour tomorrow. 4 degrees with mainly cloudy skies. And then on Saturday, 2 degrees, 3 on Sunday. The weekend's looking terrific. 4 degrees on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, and then -1 on Wednesday and Thursday. A slight chance of flurries on Wednesday. Seen here in rehearsal, Saskatoon Summer Players presents The Wedding Singer, the musical adaptation of the Adam Sandler comedy. It runs until Sunday at the Broadway Theatre. Wanuskewin Heritage Park's latest exhibit is Run to the Hills, featuring the work of Anishinaabe artist Christian Chapman. The opening reception, which is open to the public, will be held on Saturday from 6 until 9.
Back to the country, I wish I never left. I was seeking out a meaning, chasing girls and paying rent.
Saturday evening, The Basement welcomes East Coast artist Daniel James McFadden. Saturday evening, Brad Paisley's Truck Still Works World Tour lands at SaskTel Centre.
Every time I'm going out, I don't wear my hearing aids if I think there might be cute guys there. I'm wearing them tonight.
The Comedy Pit's next Clean Comedy Showcase is set for Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock at Art Bar Theatre. Originally from Zimbabwe, Edmonton's Black Umfolosi International is set to perform Tuesday at the Basement.
I understand the character Rosenstern is not an accurate portrayal in Shakespeare's Hamlet. I will now remove the character Rosenstern for your convenience.
Hamlet Machine is the latest offering from the University of Saskatchewan's Greystone Theatre. It's 3 distinct reimagined versions of the classic Shakespearean drama and runs from November 19th until the 29th. Homegrown movie Klee opens the 16th annual Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival. The festival kicks off Friday, November 21st at the Broadway Theatre.
All right, Jeff, you were learning about local efforts to help Jamaica with hurricane relief.
And it's going to be in the form of a party. Well, we've got the Jamaican flag, and Bob Marley is looking over our shoulders. And we're getting ready for a very special fundraiser put on by the Reggae Canadians Association here in Saskatoon. Roxanne and Patrice are with me today. So, first of all, let's talk about the art and the entertainment that's going on during this fundraiser. Patrice, give us a rundown.
So the fundraiser is titled Roots and Resilience, and we just want to celebrate the resilience of our Jamaican people. Of course, we've been impacted by Hurricane Melissa, and so we want to raise funds to assist our people back home who have been adversely affected. So we have a night called Roots and Resilience, and we have artists such as Oral Fuentes Band, Sonia Reed, Luciana Best, and Jim Balfour. And these local artists have donated their time and talent free of cost to us. And so we're going to have a night of food, culture, and fun.
All right. And in terms of raising that money, then where does the money go, Roxanne?
Yes, so the funds that will be raised, all proceeds will go to Food for the Poor Jamaica, and that will be used to assist where the need is most, because we can't determine from here. So Food for the Poor Jamaica will do all that for us.
And this is all happening right here at?
So it will be right here at Jamaica Food Basket, 136 2nd Avenue South, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. sharp. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite or follow our Instagram page, Saskatoon Reggae Canadian.
All right, and once again, it's coming up on November 19th right here at the Jamaican Food Basket.
Thanks for your support.
All right, time for Pick of the Day. What did you pick for us?
Well, we've got a whole lot of Northern Lights. We used a lot yesterday, but we wanted to show you this one. Start off with this one. It comes from Karen. We got some questions, Jeff. Last night, my husband and I, and my husband, Rick, and son Jim, and my mom, we went out for a drive, drove out to the little church at Bergheim to see if we could see some lights. And we did, but we also spotted something strange. Look at these photos. She wants to point out there is a straight line of what seems to be something in the sky. Now, they talked to someone who said it might be the delay with their phone in terms of stop action, but she says we saw this with the naked eye. She asked, any ideas? I think these are Starlink satellites, Karen. So that's what I think is going on there. So I hope that is the possible answer. Either that or the alien invasion is about to begin. So take your choice. Next one comes to us from Joe Luckenchuck, and Joe says this was shot straight overhead the night of November 12th, so in other words last night, around 7:45 south of Tisdale, and that's an amazing shot. So thank you, Joe, for sharing that image. And finally, from Lori, this one comes to us via Ian McDougall. He submitted this on Lori's behalf. Lori calls this Lights Over Green Lake, and that is a beautiful shot. And yes, we had many submissions, and it's tough to keep them all straight and showcase them all. But if you'd like to send us a picture, you can certainly do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca and put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, we head to Winnipeg, where Grey Cup festivities are in full swing. A look at the fun and fan frenzy that has taken over the city. It's a weekend that is circled on every CFL fan's calendar, the Grey Cup. Daniel Hamlerson is at the RBC Convention Centre in Winnipeg getting into the spirit.
Grey Cup weekend in Winnipeg is here, and die-hard CFL fans are showing up in droves. Go Riders, go! While the big game between Saskatchewan and Montreal goes Sunday, there's plenty happening beforehand.
To be able to now invite everybody here, witness our fan base firsthand, and really experience kind of what the Winnipeg CFL market's all about is really special. I'm really excited.
The party starts right at the airport with a group of volunteers putting the friendly in friendly Manitoba, welcoming football fans coming from out of town.
We're feeling just great. Yeah, so for me, it's my 52nd, and Sandy, I guess it's about 30 or 35th Grey Cup game, and the weather's going to be -5, -6, sunny.
The convention center's the place to be for live concerts, team party rooms, and even a chance to catch up with some CFL stars.
See how much fun this actually is, though, to see how much fun that people actually have. You know, I've never seen this side of it. You know, I'm always hyper-focused. Like I said, I've been blessed to be able to play in 5 Grey Cups. Never seen this part of the Grey Cup.
And over at the University of Winnipeg is a free festival with plenty of fun lined up for the whole family.
Go inside and you got the TELUS CFL fan experience, which is kind of combine-style drills, so you can really test your skills to see if you'd make it in the CFL.
And while some fans have a little more stake in Sunday's championship showdown, they all agree this weekend comes down to a love of the game.
The fact that you can go anywhere and somebody might be rooting for a specific team, but they're all CFL fans.
Just relax and just experience it, because there's a lot going on and everyone's here to have a good time. Doesn't matter what their team colors are.
When we come back, the Huskies get ready for the big weekend before them, and later, how you can show your support for the Riders ahead of the Grey Cup weekend.
Okay, it's time for the rural forecast, and we've got temperatures that are what? Yeah, above seasonal again. But not as warm as it has been, but still, look at this. 0 degrees in Meadow Lake and Lloydminster, 3 in Kindersley, 5 for Outlook. Now, we do have some windy conditions in some locations. Some places, it just might be breezy. Winds around 30 kilometers an hour, but other places where that windy icon pops up, we're going to be seeing wind gusts up to 50 and 60 kilometers an hour, at least for a part of the day. 6 degrees for Hudson Bay, 7 for Wynyard, 5 for Watrous and Outlook. Down south, where we're still in some double-digit temperatures. Yes, look at that. Assiniboia, Rockland, and Coronach all at 11 tomorrow. 10 for Carlisle, 6 for Kenora, 4 in Rosetown and Leader. So things are cooling off a little bit, but southern Saskatchewan is still really quite warm. And pretty warm temperatures for Bethune area. We're looking at partly cloudy or mainly cloudy conditions. But the wind out of the southwest, 30, and then it backs off a little bit, but it shifts around to come out of the northwest. So a bit of a coolish wind in that respect, but still a warm day. 7 degrees, not too bad at all. And Bethune is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The U of S Huskies are 2 days away from hosting their first bowl game in 20 years. The last time Griffith Stadium was home to a national semi-final bowl game was in 2005 when the Huskies beat Laval in a nail-biter by a score of 29-27. On Saturday, the Huskies will host the Queens Golden Gales in a game to decide who will head to the Vanier Cup. Queens finished the season with a 5-3 record, while the Huskies went 7-1 before eliminating UBC and Regina in the playoffs. Scott Flory remembers playing in a bowl game in Saskatoon and talks about what it means to host it here.
I mean, we just get the luxury and of not being able to travel and being able to stay home and being able to prep here and, you know, beautiful sunny Griffith Stadium, right? So, you know, not having to go on the road, not having to do a bunch of those things is great. They're going to come in ready to go. I mean, we know Queens is going to be ready to play on Saturday, so it'll be a great game. I know our guys are going to be ready though too.
Kickoff for the Mitchell Bowl is Saturday at 2 p.m. at Griffith Stadium. Nervous investors sent the market sinking today. It was one of the worst days since April when all the American tariffs were announced. Morella Fernandez has more.
North American markets are deep in the red today as investors sell off big tech. Investors want to take less risk now that the U.S. government is restarting. There are concerns about all the economic data that has been delayed, like the labor reports, which could show a weakening U.S. economy. That has investors pivoting to steadier stocks. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.28. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 58.64. Western Canadian Select down almost $2.50 to 46.77, and the TSX sank 573 points, ending the day at 30,253. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up, the larger-than-life puppet parade. Then wearing your support for the green and white.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the Beauty Bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Hell's Kitchen.
And then on 911 Nashville,
your favorite show.
It's a hillbilly hurricane. Hoo-wee!
I've been thinking that for days. Glad you finally got to use it.
Well, it's just...
All right, giant puppets came to life as part of an annual marionette festival in Mali. These larger-than-life puppets paraded down the street of the capital. The festival is in its 9th year and promotes social cohesion through street art. It also features dance performances, concerts, and plays. So,
alrighty.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Green and White Day has been proclaimed in Saskatchewan for a second straight week. The province made the declaration today that tomorrow is another Green and White Day. The same designation was made before the Western final, and this footage is from that declaration. Saskatchewan fans, of course, encouraged to show off their rider pride heading into Sunday. So, yeah, Gainer's busy in Winnipeg. So.
He is. And, of course, we'll be busy with the Santa Claus Parade prior to the Grey Cup.
Yes, and hopefully it's not going to be windy like tomorrow.
Well, I don't think it's going to be windy, but it is going to be warmer than seasonal, so that's good.
That is good.
But tomorrow is definitely going to be windy. Let's take a quick look here. Yes, the winds start picking up at about 6 in the morning, and it looks like they're going to keep on rocking throughout the day, maybe backing off just a titch, as we head into the evening hours.
You have fun on your morning walk, then.
I will. I'll be Poco the Clown walking against the wind. Poco the Clown, still a reference.
Thanks for watching. Good night.